Okay, what's up, everyone? Swinging Bull here, back with another earnings stream. Streaming on YouTube, Twitch, X, Kick. Today we got these two stocks here. There wasn't really a lot to choose from today, but Evolution Petroleum Corporation, ticker symbol EPM, they're reporting, and then Flux Power Holdings, ticker symbol FLUX, and EPM is reporting at 4:15 p.m. They got a forecast EPS of 0.01 and a forecast revenue of 21 million. Look at their annual chart here. Their anchor VWAP's just below $5, so they're trading them pretty good above there. Flux Power Holding, they're supposed to report right at 4. I'll go back to the charts here in a second. Their forecast EPS negative 0.09 and forecast revenue 16 million. Their chart looks a little funky. Let's go back to the sticks here. All right, so Flux is supposed to be the first one. So let's see. We'll go back here. So just a little bit about these two companies. So Flux, they're in the industry they're in is machinery, tools. Hey, what's up, Hatim on Discord? Good to see you. So the industry they're in is machine tools, heavy vehicles, trains, and ships. They design, manufacture, sells lithium-ion energy storage solutions for electrification of a range of industrial and commercial sectors, including material handling, airport ground support equipment, stationary energy storage. Just a little bit about the company. They're located in the United States. They got a negative EPS, only a $12 million float, so it doesn't really take much to move this. Let's look at the daily chart real quick. Just seeing if they've done any reverse splits or anything like that. Don't really see any reverse splits. That's good. Let's go back intraday. So they were up 52% today going into the earnings. And they closed the regular session yesterday at $2.07. So they're trading above $3 now today. So what kind of, I don't know if their earnings maybe got leaked or something. Up 52% today before the earnings data technically was supposed to come out. Let's look at their income statement. Yeah, gotta be careful with this one. That they have a hard time pulling a profit. They have not pulled a profit in the past 5 quarters. And on the annual basis, they haven't pulled a profit in the past 5 years. So just something to keep note. I prefer to trade companies that are profitable, have positive net income, that kind of thing. Let's see how much. I want to see their debt to asset ratio, 114%. So yeah, they're kind of over leveraged as the company. They got a lot more debt than they have asset, and they don't really have a lot of money in the bank either. Cash and equivalents, 505,000. And I know that's not a lot. I know that's a lot of money, but for a stock listed on the exchange, it's not really a lot. For cash and equivalent position, only 500,000. So got to be careful with companies that are low on money. But let me just check a few things here. So yeah, they're according to Earnings Whispers, they're supposed to report at 4. Let me go to their news real quick. And they closed a $5 million private placement of pre-funded warrants and common warrants. That was 7 hours ago. Yeah, I don't think their earnings are out yet. Let's see if it says the time on Webull here. Okay, let me see. Flux. Nope, doesn't really show a time. So go back to the candlesticks. Let's talk about EPM real quick. EPM. They also have a negative EPS. They pay an 8.7% dividend. Wowzers. Look at Flux getting a move. So maybe they released the data at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. So maybe the data just came out. $30 million float on EPM. Let me just check EPM's financials just real quick. And I'll go back to Flux because Flux is actually getting a move. They're kind of, EPM has had trouble pulling a profit past couple quarters. They pulled profit before that. Kind of a mixed bag there, but kind of more trending down on the positive net income side. Let's see, on an annual basis, looks like they were profitable last year, profitable in 2023, profitable in 2022. So the annual looks a little bit better than the quarterly. That's at 54%. That's pretty good. And they got like as of March 31st, they had 5.6 million in cash and equivalents. So EPM kind of a little bit of a better stock than Flux financially and fundamentally, I think. All right, let me go back to Flux because it looks like this is the one that's getting the move right now. And they did go up to 3.55. Now they're on the way back down, so it might be a bit of profit taking going on with this stock. Pretty common with stocks trading below $5. Always see profit taking when it spikes up a little bit. All right, let me see if I have any data on this. The expected move on Flux around 10%, like 30 cents a share around there. Couple technical analysis things here. Flux ready for a falling wedge, upside breakout. We'll see if that falling wedge ends up working out. Usually those break bullish. That's going to be on the daily time frame. Let me see here. Let me go weekly time frame. Yeah, more on the weekly probably. Go back intraday to 1 minute chart. So let's see. I'm going to go to their investor relations page to see. Also, okay, it does look like some of the data was released before. So Flux secured a $1.2 million airline order plus a new battery tech patent. And let's see, $6 price target. Volatility is high. Close to $5 million private placement, adding liquidity. Fiscal year 2024 revenue, 60.8 million. Losses were narrowed. And let's see here. I'm going to go to their investor relations and see if they posted the earnings results there. All right, let's take a look. We'll also find out when their earnings web call is. So this is investor relations for Flux Power. And yes, it does look like the earnings web call with the CEO and the upper management is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. It's about 20 more minutes for that. I'll post this in the comments just if anyone wants. I know there's some people following Flux. There's the link there. I'll post that on the bottom of my screen. There we go. So that'll take you to the earnings web call. There's a hyperlink right here, right on the home page. When you get to that link, it says webcast. It starts at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. All right, and yeah, so they did report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, which is 1:05 p.m. Pacific time. And let's take a look at the press release here. So Flux Power Holdings, a leading developer of advanced lithium-ion energy storage solutions. We talked about that earlier. They secured a purchase order of over $2 million from a major North American airline for its newly redesigned G80-420 lithium-ion battery pack. Okay, so this is the earnings data here, and we've got some commentary from the CEO and everything, so I'll go over that. And let me see, they awarded a new patent that covers a breakthrough approach to battery charge balancing to optimize performance, extend battery life, and reduce downtime. Recognized among Financial Times fastest growing companies in the Americas 2025. Released Sky EMS 2.0 software platform as a beta with an airline customer, and we'll be rolling it out to additional customers in the coming months. And then, of course, we talked about they closed a $5 million private placement of pre-funded warrants and common warrants. Look at the price coming back down here. It's now red in after hours by 5%. Some commentary from the CEO. We finished 2025 with solid year-over-year growth on both a quarterly and annualized basis, resulting in improvements to our bottom line. That was said by Krishna Venka, Flux Power CEO. As we continue to scale the business, my top strategic initiative is to achieve profitable growth through a commitment to operational efficiencies combined with a reinvigorated sales approach, enhanced value delivery to customers, and more diverse revenue streams. Okay. Investors not really getting too excited about it yet, according to the price action. As we look ahead to the coming fiscal year, the current tariff and macroeconomic environment create uncertainty and near-term caution for certain customers. All right, that's probably a bit to do with why it's kind of selling off a little bit now. Again, it initially had a positive reaction to 3.55 after closing the regular session at 3.15. And on top of that, being up 52% on the day. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not obviously selling off. If you compare that to how much it was up today, being up over 52% in the regular session. So, I mean, technically, it's still very much green for today if you're counting the price action intraday. So it doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad at all. But the CEO is hinting towards uncertainty and near-term caution for certain customers they have. And that's due to the tariff and the macroeconomic environment. So for anyone trading Flux out there, it's just something to be aware of. There could be some near-term caution or uncertainty, if you will. Okay, let's see. Revenue increased 25% to 16.7 million. So that's good growth there compared to 13.4 million in same time in 2024. Gross profit for the quarter improved approximately 61% to 5.8 million compared to 3.6 million in the fourth fiscal quarter of 2024. So yes, they did pull a positive net income. So that's good. That's gross profit basically. Gross margin increased 760 basis points to 34.5% in the fourth fiscal quarter of 2025 compared to only 26% in the same time last year. Operating expenses for the fourth quarter were 6.5 million compared to 5.4 million in the prior quarter. So operating expenses up a little bit. Operating loss was 0.8 million compared to 1.8 million in the prior year quarter. Okay, so they actually did take a net loss. Excuse me, misspeaking before. Net loss improved to 1.2 million or 0.07 per share. So it looks like they did beat the EPS forecast. Let me see. Full year fiscal 2025 results. Okay, a lot of this we already kind of went over. The balance sheet. Okay, this is kind of important. Cash as of June 30th was 1.3 million. So they got a little bit of cash. And then we had spoke about that they raised the $5 million in gross proceeds from the private placement of the pre-funded warrants and common warrants. Cash impacted the raise is approximately 3.8 million. And again, the conference call is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So just in another 15 minutes. Excuse me. Let me mute that office phone. I'll call them back later. So anyone interested in the Flux earnings web call with the CEO and the upper management, it's in 15 minutes. And who knows, maybe there'll be a secondary move once they do the earnings call. But it's kind of just sitting here in after hours, trading just a little bit below where it closed at. But again, you got to take in consideration it's up. It was already up 52% today, so it's kind of rallied, kind of front run the earnings, if you will. A little bit of a rally today. Actually, a big rally today, being up 50%. That's big. So it's just kind of just chilling out in after hours right now, trading just below where it closed at after rallying 52%. So just gonna have to wait and see in 15 minutes if there's another move when they actually start the earnings call. Let's go over here to EPM. Let's go to EPM, see what's going on with them. We spoke a little bit about the company when I first started the stream. Again, they're in oil and gas industry, an independent energy company. They're basically focused on ownership of and investment in onshore oil and natural gas properties in the United States. And they're based out of Texas. And its oil and natural gas properties consist of non-operated interests in the Scoop and Stack plays of the Anadarko Basin located in central Oklahoma. All right. Let's see what's going on with them. Give me 1 second here. A little after 4:15. At the end of the stream, I'll go over a trade I opened up with my group this afternoon. I'm sure everyone will be interested in seeing that. It was a spread trade. So I'll go over that here in a little bit to wrap up the stream. And I'll show everyone what I traded today. It's basically a trade for the Fed meeting tomorrow. So we'll look at that here in a second. But let me go to, okay, so Flux did beat revenue forecast, by the way. And they beat EPS. Let me post this on my screen. Give me 1 second here. Okay, there we go. There's the data for Flux. They beat EPS and they beat revenue. Back over to EPM. They closed the regular session at $5.50 per share. Kind of trading on low volume today. I mean, I guess it's a lot more volume than what they're used to. 3-month average 168,000. They had 784,000 in volume today. So yeah, trading on higher than normal volume, I suppose. And let me see if I get EPS and revenue, because their data should be out. Earnings Whispers said EPM reports at 4:15, so it should be out. We go to TradingView, actually. See what TradingView looks like. Yeah, just real gappy price action, spotty price action. That's usually what happens when it trades on low volume. Okay, so we do got the financial results. Let me take a look and see what we got here. I go to Stock Titan and get this. See what Stock Titan says. All right, so this is ticker symbol EPM. I'll keep the chart on the left over here. But as per the report, they reported strong results with net income surging 176% to 3.4 million. Okay. Oil contributed to 61% of the revenue. Some key achievements include closing a $9 million Tex-Mex acquisition, adding 440 net, and a subsequent 17 million Scoop Stack Minerals acquisition. The company strengthened its financial position by amending its credit facility to a $200 million revolver with an initial $65 million borrowing base. Evolution declared its 48th consecutive quarterly dividend of 12 cents per share. Yeah, that is a really solid dividend for the quarterly. We both said their dividends 8 to 9%, 8.7%. So they reiterated the dividend. Let me get rid of this Flux here. So they reiterated the dividend, 12 cents a share, and it's the 48th consecutive quarterly dividend. So they're on a roll with the dividends, that's for sure. And they returned $6.3 million to shareholders in 2025. The company's diversified portfolio helped navigate commodity price volatility, with natural gas revenue up 9% to $23.5 million for the year. So just some earnings data for ticker symbol EPM. Let's see when their earnings web call is and what time it is and all that stuff. Go to their investor relations page here. Flux still kind of just hanging out here, not really doing much. Their earnings web call starts in 10 minutes. But here's EPM, investor relations page. I'll post this in the comments if anyone wants to watch their earnings web call. All right, and let's see what time it's going to be. Right here. Okay, so this is them announcing the earnings. So if you want to dig deeper into their earnings, just go to that link I just posted. Here, I'll put it on the bottom of my screen. You can screenshot it. If you want to dig deeper, just go to that link, and then right here you can click on this news right here. It has all their results right there, okay? But as far as the earnings webcast, I'm not really seeing when that is. Let me go to events and presentations. Yeah, they haven't updated the website with the earnings web call, so I'm not quite sure when they're going to do theirs. Maybe it's in the news report here. Click on that. See if they, okay, this breaks down the earnings data a little more closely here. Kind of already went over most of this. Some commentary from the CEO. Operationally, we continued to unlock value across our assets to enhance long-term profitability. At Chevrolet, 4 gross wells were brought online under budget, and early production is running ahead of plan. We added highly accretive low-decline assets with development and operational upside in the Tex-Mex acquisition. And subsequent to quarter end, also closed on our largest ever minerals transaction in the Scoop Stack, adding royalty cash flows with no lifting costs and multi-year visibility on substantial continued development. Pretty strong statements there. Looking ahead, we will remain selective and returns focused, opportunistically acquiring cash-generating low-decline assets while pacing development to market conditions and using hedges to provide a solid base of return. With an expanded credit facility, a resilient, diversified portfolio, and a sustained commitment to returning cash to shareholders, they got a pretty solid dividend for sure. But yeah, I'm not seeing where and when their earnings web call is. Usually it's right on the investor. Okay, right here. They're doing their earnings web call tomorrow. That's why I didn't see it. So I guess they previously announced this, that they're going to host the conference call on Wednesday, tomorrow, September 17th. That's at 10 a.m. Central Time. All right, so 11 a.m. Eastern. And that's when they're going to review the results in the fiscal year end 2025 financial and operating results. So yes, this is it. So the link I just gave you, that's on the bottom of my screen. Just click the news and then scroll all the way down. That's where you can find the earnings web call information right here. And they got a link and everything right here for everyone, okay? All right, cool. So now we know when and where they're doing the earnings web call. So it's not till tomorrow until 10 a.m. Flux earnings web call starts in about 5 minutes. I'm personally not going to stream it. But to wrap the stream up, they want to go over SPY put debit spread trade I opened up this afternoon. The reason for the trade, well, we already know there's going to be at least a 0.25 interest rate cut tomorrow, right? Let me go to the CME watch tool here. I'll show everyone. Whoever doesn't have access to this watch tool, it's a really, really good tool to have in your kit. And this will give you the percentage chance on rate cuts or interest rate raises. Obviously, we're on the interest rate cut side now, but 96.1% is going to be a 0.25 interest rate reduction. 3.9% chance it'll be half a point. So the reason why I set the trade up that I did today, so I'm kind of, and no one knows the future. So I just want to position myself where, what if tomorrow ends up being like a sell the news event? We've known that they're going to do at least a 0.25 rate cut. The chances were pretty high for a little bit now. And it's been at least several weeks. So the question you got to ask yourself, is that baked into the price on SPY already? I mean, looking at the daily chart on SPY, I mean, it's been running, for the past few weeks, since it kind of pulled back below my EMAs here earlier this month. But it's been, we had a couple red days sprinkled in, but overall, it's been rallying. And SPY hit a new all-time high again today. But I'm just thinking about how much space there is between my EMAs and the price of SPY. You could probably see it a little bit better if you use the Bollinger Bands. Let me just go to one chart view and pull SPY up here. Okay, daily chart on SPY. I'll take my EMAs off. I'll put the Bollinger Bands on there. This is kind of what I was showing everyone earlier. SPY's kind of trading at the top Bollinger Band here, and I think it's just a matter of time before it comes back to the mean here, which would be the middle line of this blue middle line on the BBs. But anytime it's been trading at the top Bollinger Band, it usually always pulls back to the middle line. Actually, just happened last month, about a month ago. It trended up, printed a doji candle, which obviously means sellers are kind of running out of gas a little bit. And the very next week, it was a pullback to the middle line. So, we don't really know how quickly these happen. For example, if you go back here from the price action from June, it traded towards the upper Bollinger Band for like 3 weeks. I mean, I guess it kind of wicked down to the middle here, so maybe that was the it kind of correcting itself a little bit, but buyers bought that up. You can tell from the bottom wick, but I suppose that's when it's close enough for hand grenades. It kind of pulled back to the midline there, but that took 3 weeks. It's already been trading towards the upper Bollinger Band for about a week. So the trade I set up today, if tomorrow does turn into a sell the news event, I would expect the price to pull back a little bit. And we don't know what market makers are going to do. They may put they may rally the market tomorrow and maybe play some tricks and then get retail to load into calls, which of course the market makers will be writing those contracts and selling those contracts to retail. And then they pull the rug. We don't really know. We don't know the future. I just feel like the market's a little overextended right now. So I set up, Option Strat calls it a bear put spread. Technically, it's a vertical spread. It's a put debit spread, which is bearish. I was able to put the spread right below the price of spot, which is great because I want the spread to end up in the money. When we trade debit spreads, out of the money debit spreads, we want them and we want the spread to end up in the money for the debit spreads. If it's an out of the money credit spread, we don't want those going in the money. We want those to expire worthless so we can keep 100% of the credit we collected on the onset of the trade. But this trade was a debit spread, put debit spread. So I do want the price to go down a little bit, but I was able to put the spread nice and tight right below where SPY was trading at today. So I don't really need a big move down. My spread, my SPY put debit spread can end up in the money really easily on this. I usually do a handful of these when I open them, but the expiration date I chose was October 3rd. So that gives us a solid 2.5 weeks for this kind of little correction to happen. And I'm not saying the market's going to, start downtrending and be bearish. I'm just looking for SPY to pull back to these EMAs or pull back to the middle line of my Bollinger Bands. That's really all I'm thinking is probably going to happen. And that would be like a 10-point move from where SPY's at now, a little more than that. Middle Bollinger Bands around 647. So, I'm giving myself 2.5 weeks for that to happen, which is, I think is a good amount of time. And my break even on the trade is 659.58. SPY closed the regular session at 660 on the dot. Wow. Wonder if market makers wanted to pin that at 660. Who knows? But closed 660 on the dot. And if SPY is below 659.58 at expiration, this is going to be a profitable trade. So I don't need SPY to move very much, do I? And I'll pull back to the mean on the Bollinger Bands. It's like a 10-point move. So, and if we do get a 10-point move, whether it takes one day for that to happen, or maybe it happens over the course of a week that we've seen before, like back here, right here, this took about a week worth of price action for the price to come back down to my EMAs. Sometimes we get a 10-point move in one day, like a little gap down action like back here. This was in end of July, August 1st here. SPY was trading about 640. Actually 20-point move down, but just in one day. Went from 640 to 630. So there's an example of a 10-point move in one day. So we just don't know if it's going to be a one-day move or is it going to be like take a week like this. It's going to be one or the other, So I just want to position myself for when that happens. I gave myself 2.5 weeks of time for it to happen. SPY's been trading at the top of the Bollinger Bands for about a week now. So it could happen any time now. We just don't know when, but I'm going to make sure I have a trade in place for when that happens. I can make some money, right? So how the trade was set up is a SPY put debit spread, and I bought to open the 660 put, and then I sold to open the 659 put. That was all done on one trade ticket. Okay, so multi-leg option on one ticket, okay? And it only cost me $42 to open that. And the beautiful thing is the risk reward is pretty solid on this trade because you got to pay $42 to enter it. That's for one spread. Like I said, I usually do a handful of these, but it just depends on your portfolio size. Everyone's different, but that's what I'm comfortable with. I opened 5 of these, but the max profit is $58 plus your $42 back. You get that back. So if I can pull in $58 and I get my original investment back of 42, it's 138% return on your risk. This is a solid downside trade that still yields a triple-digit return. That's why I like trading debit spreads. And I want to show you another reason why I like to trade debit spreads. If you look at this October 3rd expiration, go to the option chain here. October 3rd, right here. Look at how much these at the money puts were selling for today. $700. You know, if you wanted to buy that 659 put for October 3rd, that would have cost you $700. Well, not everyone wants to spend $700 on a naked option. So the way around that is a debit spread. Now I went from needing $700 to only needing $42, and I can still participate in the strike prices that are at the money. Yes, my upside is capped by the width of the spread because it's a $1 wide spread. So for each spread is $100 in value. My max profit's $58. But, so that's kind of the trade-off. The trade will be a lot more affordable. Instead of needing $700, you only need $42, and I can participate in this in these puts that are at the money. The trade-off is your upside is capped, but that's okay. I'd rather spend a little money going into a catalyst like the Fed meeting than drop $700, because I know if I went the debit spread route, number one, it'll be a lot more affordable by a ton, like 95% more affordable, right? I mean, if you're only paying 42 instead of 700, you know, that's like a 94% discount on the cost of the trade, isn't it? That's fantastic. So that's number one. It's a lot more affordable. And number two, I can still yield a triple-digit return, which is fantastic. Okay. So just to kind of give everyone an idea of like types of trades that I do in the Discord. We have a lot of fun. I'm mainly a contract writer. Okay, that's my bread and butter. I write contracts. So anyways, just wanted to give everyone a little peek under the hood at some of the types of trades that I do. It's a little past 4:30 right now. Let me, it's really all I got for today. I also wanted to update everyone on my, I started an account challenge about 5 weeks ago. I started with $2,500. And the purpose of the challenge is to beat the S&P annual average return by 3x or more. And another purpose of the challenge was to prove to everyone that you don't need a ton of money to start writing contracts. So if you got a few $1,000, you absolutely can start writing contracts. You don't need a bunch of money for that. And, you know, I see it a lot of people, they get sick of the rat race of trying to day trade, and you know that kind of gets stressful and stuff like that. But just know there's more ways to trade. You don't just have to trade day trade options. You know, there's a lot more ways to trade, especially with multi-leg options. There's all kinds of creative stuff we can do. So if you're kind of sick of the rat race of trying to day trade and you know, and you're interested in trading in a different way, come see me. My name's the Swinging Bull in Discord, and you can even join our Discord for free and see how you like it. It doesn't even cost nothing. There's links in the description for that. But just wanted to show everyone my I am giving even if you're not part of the Discord, you just want to follow along the account challenge. I am putting all my updates. Oh, look, there's me streaming right now. I always put all my updates on my X account. So give me a follow on the X account and you'll be able to see all my updates. But I post the exact trades that I'm doing, the results of those trades. And we're in, what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 trades. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of water. I'm 7 trades into this account challenge, and I got 7 winners. Of course, I'm limited by the amount of lot size or contract size that I can do because I started the account with only 2,500 bucks. So I'm over here wheeling and dealing, and we're 7 for 7. And everyone in the Discord gets alerted when I open these trades. Any management I might have to do to the trades leading up to expiration. They get alerted when I close out the trades. They know exactly what I'm doing and when I'm doing it at all times. That's if you're part of the Discord. But I'm also putting the results and the progress on my X account. So if you want to follow along this wheel account challenge, give me a follow on X. And I made this nice little graphic of basically once a week I do an update, and started the account with 2,500. I got it up to 2,739 and some change. I'm up 9.58% in 5 weeks. That's solid. And again, the main goal is to beat the S&P annual average by 3x or more. Well, I'm off to the races on this account challenge because I've already brought in 9.58% in 5 weeks. So it looks like I'm going to be crushing that goal pretty well. I don't currently have an open trade on the account challenge right now because I want to wait until after the Fed meeting tomorrow. I don't want to get caught in a potential market-wide sell-off if that's the direction the market chooses to go tomorrow. If it ends up being, like a sell the news event. But yeah, if you're liking the content, give me a follow on X. I've been trying to build my social presence. But yeah, I would appreciate it if anyone would do that, especially if you're obviously liking the content and everything I'm giving out here. But yeah, that's really all I got for today. Again, if you're looking for a new community, check us out. You can join for free. I'm the Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I do these earnings streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. At 4 p.m. Eastern. We got some better action later in the week. I believe Cracker Barrel is reporting earnings tomorrow. They've been in the news recently regarding their whole logo thing. They tried to change the logo and then they changed it back, and so might be some people interested in seeing what their earnings reaction is. They report tomorrow. On Thursday, FedEx is reporting, along with Lennar, the home builder, Lennar. I'm interested. Thursday is going to be a fun day, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's been about 45 minutes. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I hope everyone has a great night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the next video. Cheers. Have a good night.